Hello, everyone. See everybody coming in. All right. Hello, my name's Chantal. Welcome to 50 Strong. We have Candy Tillman here. If you've never been to 50 Strong before, welcome. If this is your first time, typically at 50 Strong, we do an Employer Connect with tons of employer participants, 20 to 25. Today, we're focusing exclusively on our team at Wells Fargo. So really excited for you to be here. Thank you for joining and happy almost Halloween. I hope everybody's getting their costumes and party plans ready. Candy is going to drop a poll. If you could take a couple of seconds to answer that so we can just learn a little bit more about you. And all right, so today, Wells Fargo, we have Latasha Freeman, Erin Miranda, and Jaron Wall, all presenting today to talk about lots of different things, which we'll get into, but they'll be focusing on student veteran opportunities, military spouse programs, and all types of pathways for veterans, including Guard and Reserve. Couple things I want to hit before we move on. We do have several events happening next month in November. So on the 1st, we have an awesome Employer Connect with Visa. The following day, we have Fiserv. And then, of course, on the 16th, we'll have our multi-employer connect, at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check out all of our upcoming events. And then Candy will drop a link in for that as well. For anyone that's coming here you just got out, you've been out for 10 years, or you're just trying to navigate employment, we understand, and it's challenging. I've been through it myself. I got about 10 years ago. The whole point of these connect sessions are, one, of course, for you to find, a potential pathway, right, to a role, but really it's industry exposure. That is what's so important. And then that is what's going to give you the competitive edge by building these genuine relationships. So really think about that, when you're talking to the recruiters and program managers, is all about industry exposure, right? And we do want to thank our 70+ education partners. If you are a student veteran, recently graduated from a degree or training program, drop in your school, your alumni in the chat. We would love to hear about it. Candy is a Roll Tide, so if there's any in there, I'm sure she would appreciate the shout out. And then 3 tools I want to talk about before we pass it over to the Wells Fargo team is we have our key employment pathways page that's on our website. So it's an opportunity for you to see all of our employer participants' pathways, any contact information that they may have put on there, a career form, their locations, critical fill roles. It's a really good opportunity to just get an idea of what's available. Secondly, if you're a student veteran and military affiliated student, currently enrolled or just graduated, we have about 200 opportunities, including several Wells Fargo opportunities that are featured on our student listings page. You can find that on our website, and they're updated frequently. And then lastly, if you're a transitioning service member, or you know a transitioning service member, we have over 6,000 opportunities listed on our SkillBridge listings page. There's also an app that's available. What's unique about this is, one, employers have 24/7 access to update them, so you know that they're at least the most correct in comparison to the other website. And then you can actually filter by city and state level to ensure that you're looking at positions that you're going to be able to attend based on location. All right, one more thing. So 5.3.0 is the version you need to have in order to move into a breakout room. So please make sure that you have the most updated version. If you don't, or you're not sure, it's okay. We can manually move you if we need to. All right, and so before I pass it over to Wells Fargo team, there are going to be 3 breakout rooms once the presentation is over. So we're going to have student veterans with Erin Miranda, Veteran Guard Reserve is going to be with Jaron Wall, and then military spouse programs are going to be with Latasha Freeman. And if you need any help moving into the chat, you could just stay in the main room and then we'll help you. And then with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I will pass it over to Miranda, who will get it, or I'm calling you by your last name. I'll pass it over to Erin so he can go ahead and start.
Hey, Chantal, before Erin starts,
Yep.
I'm going to end the poll and share the results. About 35% of folks are here for the very first time at 50 Strong. So welcome, everybody.
All right. Go ahead, Erin.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm Aaron Miranda. I'm the military talent liaison here at Wells Fargo. And I've been on the stagecoach for a little bit over 2 years, but I've been in talent acquisitions, military transition services for over 18 years, from working in academia to owning and operating my own recruitment firm. Now, my primary responsibility at Wells Fargo is actually really, really simple. It's to help military veterans and military spouses find the right position with us. Now, to my counterpart, Latasha Freeman.
Great. Thank you, Aaron. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Latasha Freeman. I am a military talent liaison for Wells Fargo as well. I've been with the Stagecoach for 17 months now, but I've been in operations, project management, and human resources for nearly 20 years. I am also an active duty military spouse here in San Antonio, Texas. My effort and passion is to support our transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses with career opportunities. I am so thrilled to be here today to present and hear your story on your career endeavors. And now I would like to pass it over to Jaron.
Thanks, Latasha. I've been in the Army National Guard in North Carolina for about 13 and a half years. 5 of those were active as a recruiter. I transitioned into one of our military apprenticeship program roles here at Wells Fargo about a year and a half ago. Really excited to do what I do because ultimately no one's a better advocate, right, than our community. So looking forward to get to know all of you. Back to you, Aaron.
Thank you, Jaron. So we're going to go over our agenda real quick. I don't believe in death by PowerPoint, but we're going to have multiple slides. Okay, first is why is Wells Fargo, where I fit in, go a little bit more into our programs, and of course, our mysterious recruiting process. Okay, so first off, why Wells Fargo? We understand you, okay? We have over 30 team members dedicated to support your efforts. The majority of us are veterans or military spouses. We all have experience in recruiting and advocating for people like you, so we understand the skills that you bring to the organization. Moreover, we have developed training to help our recruiters and hiring managers understand what military talent brings to the organization. Finally, since we have over 7,000 veteran Guard reservists working at Wells Fargo, we have many hiring managers who themselves are veterans. Next, we appreciate you. We have dedicated resources to establish customized exclusive hire programs like the ones you're going to learn about today. Now, throughout the year, and not just on Veterans Day, we have recognition programs to acknowledge those who have served and are serving. Next, we support you. After you join the company, you will find our commitment to your success continues. You can be active in our Veterans Connection, which is in our employee resource network. Also, if you're in the Guard and Reserve and are activated to full time, we provide you the resources to help you focus on the task at hand. We provide gap pay, meaning we're going to help you. We'll make up the difference between your military and your regular pay, so you won't have to worry about how I'm going to pay the bills, and you can focus on what is required while you're wearing that uniform. Next, we consistently go above and beyond what is required and have actually been awarded the Freedom Award, which is the highest employer award from the Secretary of Defense. So here's a big question. Where do I fit in? Well, it's all about attitude, aptitude, and ability. In many cases, it's obvious, like cybersecurity, financial crimes investigations, for example. In many circumstances, we're looking for basic skills, interest, and aptitude. You want to look into your career and find out, where do you find fulfillment? Is it helping people find solutions to their situations, developing processes, tracking and analyzing data? All of these things can be found here at Wells Fargo. For example, on this slide, we identify frontline positions. These roles are good for those people, those individuals who like interacting with the public. These positions can be found in several of our large lines of businesses, like the ones listed here. Now, there are in-person positions at banking centers where you would interact with regular consumers and maybe small businesses. There are also positions at contact centers where you'll be working with customers over on the phone. These customers can be regular consumers, small businesses, or what is known as high net worth clients in wealth management. In wealth management, there are in-person and virtual positions, and it is the same with investment banking. As you go over the next few slides, you'll see there's going to be some crossover. That is because in many cases, a line of business will have some people who are client-facing and some who are working behind the scenes. Now, there are other areas within Wells Fargo that involve minimal direct customer contact, but they are no less important to accomplishing our mission. If you find it rewarding to develop and implement processes or do deep dives in analytics to identify trends, find bottlenecks, and improve processes, you can find it in lots of areas within Wells Fargo. Now, risk is a big word in our world, and it manifests itself in many areas. First, operational risk. Is a process consistent, effective, reliable? Market risk. Are the trends showing us information we need to be mindful of and act on? Credit risk. Are those who are asking to borrow money going to be able to pay us back? Kind of important. Reputational risk. Are people doing things that would damage our standing in the community? So you see, your experience identifying and mitigating risk in the military is highly valued in the banking industry. Now, we are all about process improvement and operational excellence. So in this area, you're likely to find positions such as process engineers roles posted when we're looking for those who have exposure to Six Sigma, Lean, and Agile or similar methodologies. Now, those process programs and products all need a lot of people to be successful. And in every line of business, you're going to see positions called business execution consultants, business execution associates, business execution administrators. These are the folks who keep things moving to the right direction. If you can manage a lot of moving parts and collaborate with a lot of people, this might be something for you to consider. Now, finally, technology. Technology is a huge part of our organization. We have more technology employees than most technology companies do. The roles run the entire spectrum from developers to cyber threat specialists and even big data analytics. Next, within wealth management, remember those are the individuals providing high net worth services to high net worth clients. There are a lot that happens behind the scenes as well in analytics and also research. And the same is true with investment banking. Now, everybody thinks of the folks on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Those positions definitely exist, by the way. And but there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that is necessary to make sure all of that work and research and technology and operations work consistently. Now, these positions are available only in select hub locations, and I'll go over our hub locations in a moment. Now, the Enterprise Functions Group, it's similar to the Adjunct General Branch in the Army. It's where you're going to find specialists like human resources, finance, audit, which is similar to our Inspector General, legal, like you see in the Judge Advocate General in the military, and the like. Typically, we're looking for individuals with specific related experience. For example, some of our team members in talent acquisition, like myself, were recruiters when we were in the military. Now, within audit, we have teams who ensure we are following government requirements and teams who are making sure established processes are being performed consistently. When people think of audit, they think of running down the numbers. When you need to think about audit control, think about, hey, when I was in NCO, I did QC checks. I would make sure everything was within regulation. If something was out of regulation, we could develop control measures. That is audit within Wells Fargo, and also control, which is another department within Wells Fargo. Now, again, these positions are only available in hub locations. Now, let's take a moment to review where our main hubs are located. The operations, support, and enterprise positions I talked about are going to be located in the select hubs, while frontline positions, like in banking centers and financial aid centers, can be found in non-hub locations across the nation. Now, when I say select hubs, that means that some areas like human resources and technology, for example, are found in some hub locations, but not all. Also, you may have also heard about our return to office strategy that major organizations have been implementing. Wells Fargo has already returned to the office, and there are no purely remote positions being offered at this time. Now, I know we went through a lot, so I want to take a quick little break and see what kind of questions people have for us.
Looks like Nathan raised his hand.
Hey, Nathan, what question do you have for us?
Yeah, hey, thanks for your time today. Regarding your hybrid work environment, I wonder if there's like a specific structure for that.
It depends on the general lines of business, okay? But normally for a hybrid is 3 days in the office and 2 remote, okay? Again, and that's for our enterprise operations general positions. Our branch positions more likely are going to be in the office, be at the branch locations 5 days a week. But the ones in the hubs, usually 3 in the office and 2 remote. Was that clear as mud there, Nathan?
Yeah, I gotcha. Thanks a lot.
Too easy. Any other questions? I see Brandon, Ellie. How you doing, Brandon? I see you. Okay. Leaf. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. What kind of questions do you have for me?
Yes, sir. It is Lee. Thank you. So I'm on a skill bridge now, getting ready to retire in a couple months, and as I'm starting to apply, I'm finding that many corporations are looking for that very niche. This is what we do, so financial type things. So looking like the operations support area that you have, which is probably where I'd best fit in. What is the company looking for in that? Are they willing to take people that don't have a very strict, I've worked in finance my whole career, but I have worked in like logistics and work with a budget type thing, or like you said, I have those skills where I critical thinking and look into things.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a sense of what that environment is. Thank you.
No, definitely. We're not part of SkillBridge. We're actually part of the corporate fellowship program, where Natasha is going to go over a little bit more. Okay. And with us, we don't put you directly into a specific position. Okay. What we do, we put you in a rotation model where you get to look at different lines of businesses and what they do, so you get a better understanding of what to generally apply for. Okay.
Right. Right. No, so I was just saying, I'm currently in a skill bridge elsewhere, but I'm applying to for positions after skill bridge. So I was just curious if it's, you really need to have some sort of financial background to really get a foot in the door with you for a permanent position.
No, it depends on the position you're going for, and also the general level. If you're looking for a senior lead business execution consultant, it might be a lot harder. Okay. However, we look for basically your skill set, so what you bring to the organization. So if you have experience in risk or compliance or what's it called, audit, or general controls, we have positions, and you don't necessarily have to come directly out of the finance world. Like this is my first job in the banking industry, by the way. Before that, I had my own business. I worked at a nonprofit before that, and in academia. So I had no knowledge about what a bank or what entails in going to the bank. Okay. And honestly, I thought everybody's going to be stuffy, wearing suits. And I was like, man, I'm going to really hate this. It's not really my vibe. I got here and it's completely opposite, very professional. You can have great conversations with your leaders. It's eye-opening. So it's a great experience.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. Hector.
Hey,
Salazar, what kind of questions do you have for me real quick?
Yeah, I had a question. For the Texas area, is there any new hubs being built? And what does that look like from a new jobs opening perspective?
For hubs in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, we already have multiple hubs here in Texas. The DFW area, we have multiple locations in Irving, Plano, and Addison. Okay, we also have another hub location in San Antonio. Those are our primary hub locations in the DFW area in San Antonio.
Great, sounds good. And is the Irving one, how is that going to expand like on jobs? Like, is there going to be more IT jobs, more HR jobs? Because I know there's a hub being built there.
Yeah,
so I was wondering.
It's bringing everybody together into the urban location. Okay, so the Addison and the Plano, more likely they're going to be moving into the main campus, which is supposed to be built 2025, 2026, completed.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, Brandon.
Hey, how's it going? So I guess my question is really, how much is too much? There's some positions that you know of that I'm being considered for, but I'm, staying up to date on the jobs page and seeing some interesting positions open up on there as well. And I'm actually applying to one as we speak. So I don't know, if I'm kind of putting them into the pipeline, if it degrades my chances of the ones that I've already got into the works, if I submit kind of one or two behind those.
You don't want to be an over applier. Okay, as long as they're targeted, and let's say you apply to 7-8 positions, but they're all within your skill set, no recruiter is going to be like, hey, you know what, this individual is just spraying, and hopefully they land something. Okay, and of course, just talk to MTL before you apply, and that way they can give you a little bit more insight. I'm sorry, military talent liaison. That way they can give you a little bit more insight about the role and to see whether or not you would be a good fit for that position. Because we can read into it, look at minimum qualifications, and then look at the desire and be like, hey, you know what? Look at this. The hiring manager's looking more at this, or hey, you know what? You don't have it in your resume, but definitely put this on there. Okay, that way when you apply, the recruiter's going to see, hey, you know what? This person was paying attention. They targeted. Let's go ahead and give them a call. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Max, how are
Hey.
you doing?
Hey, good. So question on the hub flexibility. If there is office presence, I reside in Florida. Is there any flexibility on the hub locations as long as there's an office presence? Is it mainly just to come in and out of office, or is it mainly out of, for like camaraderie's sake, or is it business unit alignments for some of these hubs?
It's business unit alignment from some of these hubs. Okay.
Okay.
So there's going to be some in HR that'll be they're going to be available in Dallas and maybe Phoenix, but they're not going to be available in St. Louis. Okay. So it depends on the general line of business. And normally, for like in Florida, we don't have a hub location there. Most of our positions are going to be branch related roles.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. So next, we're going to go ahead and go into military programs. Latasha.
Thanks, Aaron. I think those were some wonderful questions. But today I would like to discuss about our military programs here at Wells Fargo. We have 5 programs I like to highlight today that are all focused on military and military spouses hiring. Now I'd like to talk about Boots to Banking Hiring Initiative. And Boots to Banking, the entire class is made up of veterans. In addition to training for the Pacific role, you will receive specialized training to help you learn more and how to succeed in corporate America. We have had these classes in most of our hubs across the country. Typically, the positions are for the roles like phone bankers, fraud and claim specialists, and account resolution specialists, along with customer service representatives. However, we have also had B2B classes for salaried roles, such as auditors and some technology roles. These classes can come up any point throughout the year, so I suggest that you stay in contact with us. Now let's talk about our Hiring Our Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program. Wells Fargo's partnered with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation to operate a program that qualifies as a DoD skill bridge program called a Corporate Fellowship Programs, Hiring Our Heroes. This is a 12 weeks learning experience. It's hosted 3 times each year. The start months each year are January for cohort 1, May for cohort 2, and August for cohort 3. You must be active duty and within the last 6 months of service for the duration of the program to be eligible and can be on terminal leave during this time. Your leadership approval is required and must have an application completed through Hiring Our Heroes website. We focus on candidates who are located in or want to be relocated in one of our core locations, as Aaron discussed earlier, our hub locations. Some unique aspects about our program in comparison to other organizations is we don't align fellows with a specific role or department. Instead, they complete a schedule and rotational learning experience of a wide variety of areas within our organization to help our fellows understand the function of all these areas and to help them understand where their skill sets best fit in here at Wells Fargo. We support our fellows with a assigned mentor and recruiter and help them network with hiring managers and senior leaders. Roles and departments former fellows have been offered included risk, project management, process improvement, technology, IT, cyber, investigations, analytics, and leadership and advisory roles. Great opportunity here is our Veteran Employment Transition Program, which is an 8-week spring and fall program that targets experienced talent. Veterans start as program associates, with majority being growth promoted into various mid and senior level full-time positions across Wells Fargo's enterprise. You'll be set up for success with clear expectations on the job training and professional development as you connect with your experienced Wells Fargo team members. That is not a skill bridge. Again, it's not a skill bridge eligible program. So you will need to be completely off active duty or on terminal leave or in the guard or reserve or not on active duty as they start the program. We typically hire about 40 to 55 each cohort. If you're interested in this program, scan the QR code on the screen and sign up for our community talent team. This will stay up to date. This will keep you up to date with our spring 2024 spring cohort. We will start releasing information about the first of the year for the spring 2024 cohort, and the job announcement should be open in early February. And I like to leave that up in case y'all like to scan that QR code. Okay, moving forward. Now let's talk about the Julie Schermerhorn National Military Apprenticeship Program. This apprenticeship programs are paid training programs that are in line with the approved Department of Labor learning paths. When you're completed your apprenticeship, which runs 1 to 2 years, you will be considered fully trained and prepared for your success in this position. For example, in the past, several of these positions has been for branch managers in our consumer small business banking area, technology, and in audit. We recently brought an associate branch manager, as well as software engineers and institutional investment operations specialists. During the apprenticeship, you are trained to fill in the knowledge and experience gap. For example, we brought on the apprenticeship onto our team. They had the military recruiting experience, so they had many of the fundamental skills, but was missing that corporate experience. So the training was focused on getting them exposure to most of the talent acquisition that was specific to the corporate recruitment. Thank you. Now, let's talk about Homefront Heroes Hiring Program. This is one of our newest programs. The Homefront Heroes Hiring Program launched in 2024 and is designed to attract and directly hire spouses and domestic partners of actively serving military personnel. Roles in the program will be categorized as remote, hybrid, portable, or in office across the U.S. that meets the needs of the line of business participating in the program. Please read the location requirements closely and note this is not a remote-only program. This program is always on, so roles will post as they're received from the business groups. There are 5 business groups piloting this program. For example, human resources, consumer lending, technology, wealth and investment management, and consumer and small business banking. One of the most common questions asked by spouses looking at the open roles is whether they can apply for multiple roles in the program when they're posted. And the answer is yes. Anytime you see multiple postings of the same job title, if you're interested and qualified, you will want to apply for both. They sit on different teams and fall up under different hiring managers, so you would need to throw your name in both hats with a targeted resume for each position. Of note, please remember this is a direct hire program, not an internship or a fellowship. So the required qualification must be met and close attention should be paid to the desired qualifications. Additionally, this is one unique program where you will closely find some remote roles, as you heard mentioned earlier. If you're a remote eligible position, you will see the language listed in the location section of the job posting that says other locations and or remote may be considered with the ability to produce a copy of military orders. Without that target language listed and without a copy of military orders, you would need to be in location listed in a job posting. By using your phone Let's take a moment again to hover over the QR code on the bottom of the right of the screen, and you will be able to take advantage of the Triple H program or HHH program landing page and be able to join the Military Spouse Community Talent. See open.
Hey, can you make sure everyone's on mute that's not speaking?
Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. So let's see let's open our Triple H program roles and learn more about the Triple H program hours when the program team makes them available for Q&A and small group settings. Now I'd like to turn it over to Jaron.
Thank you, Latasha. I'm going to go over our recruiting process, just to give you some tips that are going to help you be more successful in that. A great way to be aware of opportunities is to join our talent community, and I really mean that. It's hyper important. On that same site, wellsfargojobs.com/military, there's a link that you can use to sign up for our military talent community. So you can get messages and outreach from us that'll be important for you. We'll announce when programs are kicking off, when we're delivering our next webcast, those sorts of things. So that way you can be informed. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see job alerts on the careers page. And that feature makes it so that way you can get automated notifications whenever you're typing in your search. So if you have a certain position that you're looking for in a certain location, and you want those alerts as soon as they post, definitely sign up for that. Very useful. Now, we're going to take a look at the overall process. You've searched the site, you zeroed in your resume for the position you want to target, and you submitted your application and then notified one of the military talent liaisons on our team. When you apply for a position, it's very helpful if you be specific about how you were referred to us as well. All of the options we're involved in are listed underneath the military/veteran source. That information really helps us when it comes to helping other veterans. Once you've done all that, right, we'll be able to connect with the selection team to advocate for you and answer any questions they may have. We're, like I said, a military talent liaison. We're the middleman in that process. The recruiter is going to look over those resumes and first for the required qualifications, and then stack ranking applicants based on those desired qualifications. That's that real competitive piece. Some positions require an assessment as part of the selection process. While you're in consideration for a position, it's really important that you keep an eye on your email and your junk folder. Sometimes they end up there. If an assessment is required and you don't complete it, you're automatically ruled out. If you have an assessment and you do well, the recruiter decides who they will make contact for a phone screen, which is a short interview covering the fundamentals and determining who moves forward to that hiring manager. Then the top applicants are forwarded to that hiring manager, who decides who will get an interview. The interview may be one-on-one with the hiring manager. There may be more than one interview, or maybe a panel. It kind of depends. Be aware that we can't provide feedback for your actual interview. We can provide feedback if we do a practice interview with you, but we do not get feedback from that recruiter typically, and they're typically unable to provide that directly to you as well. A lot of that has to do with capacity. The status that you see when you log into your profile is the same status that we see. We know that getting that feedback is a good way to improve, but feedback from a recruiter or hiring manager on how you did in the interview is probably not going to be a source. The hiring manager then makes their decision in a contingent offer. It's contingent because we'll do a background check. Even if you have a top secret clearance, tier 1 super soldier, we still got to follow those FDIC requirements. We're going to take a minute to talk about compensation and compensation negotiation. As with most corporations, right, compensation parameters are pretty well set, and there may not be much, wiggle room. Early on in the process, you have to, you've been asked by the recruiter about your compensation expectations. This is when you want to be open and direct in that conversation. Neither you nor the recruiter wants to get to the offer stage and everyone be disappointed. We have no interest in lowballing someone. That's asking for turnover and bad employee experience. I imagine you've probably heard from your TAP classes or veteran service organization strategies about compensation negotiations. Smaller companies might have more flexibility, but major corporations like Wells Fargo have to keep in mind things like pay equity. How does this pay for this person compared to others doing the same job, right? Remember, the job doesn't pay you what you are worth, it pays what the job is worth. When the background check comes back clear and you've accepted your offer, then you're ready to start. And then you're gonna do a party dance with us, your military talent liaison. So, at this point, I'd really like to answer any questions about that process.
Okay, while we're waiting for hands to come up, one of the main questions we get is how can we get connected with a military talent liaison? Okay, it's really, really simple. Okay, what you need to do is go wellsfargojobs.com. Okay, identify 2 roles that you feel you're qualified or in your area. Okay, I need you to send those rec numbers and your resume to militaryrecruiting@wellsfargo.com, saying that you want to get connected with a military talent liaison. Okay, you will receive an email from us saying, hey, are you willing to relocate? Some other questions just to make sure we send you to the right individual. Okay, after you do that, within 72 hours, you'll receive an email or if not a call from one of us. Then we're going to sit down with you, and we don't believe in air candy. Okay, we want you to be successful. We want you to be part of our team. So we'll sit down with you and say, hey, you know what? The jobs you sent me, perfect, in line. What we need to do is go ahead and make these corrections your resume, or if not, say, hey, you know what? I know that you're looking at the senior level or this lead level. Maybe we should looking at this back level. It's going to be a better route for you. So you get that coaching. After you apply, you make those corrections on your resume. I normally ask you, send me 3 bullet points on how your experience relates to the position, and I'll go out there and advocate for you. I'll reach out to the recruiter and say, hey, have Brandon here. Brandon is amazing. I'll use those 3 bullet points, and this is why he would be a good fit for this role. Okay, so our goal is to get you recognized. Sometimes these positions have over 100 applications, but if we can show and make it easier for the recruiter to make a selection to move forward, we won. Okay. Now, what other questions do you have from us?
I think we've got Matthew.
Hi, thank you all for your time. I was just wondering, from start to finish on that whole application process and interview, like from reaching out to you to actually being able to start a position, what's the usual timeline?
Okay,
really
we're
good...
slow as molasses.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Go ahead.
Good. Okay. I appreciate it. I mean, it can be slow. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I've seen something, fly through a 2-week process, and that was, that's an outlier. I would say give it about 2 to 4 weeks. Some of those postings are going to be open for a good minute, and when they close, that recruiter may then go in and start that process. And so with that, I would say give it a good 2 to 4 weeks, right? Typically, they're going to reach out via email. That hiring manager depends on their capacity as well, right? So, I would say that it's not going to be hyper quick. But typically, once you have that offer, you're looking at, 30 days as far as, your typical start date. So, at that point, like I said, there's going to have to be some flexibility in that process. But ultimately, if you get to a 4-week point and you want to reach out to ask that recruiter, right? That's not a hard ask. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
And mind you, sometimes things are also out of control, such as running the general backgrounds. Okay, sometimes that can hold up the process a little bit. Just
Absolutely. That's a good point.
Shauna G, what kind of questions do you have for us?
Yes. Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm Shauna Granberry, active duty Army. I'm transitioning out. I'm actually a part of the Hire Heroes cohort 2404, and just trying to capitalize on all platforms that you guys are offering to engage. How does that process work? I know they did the resume release. As far as letting you guys know that we're interested in possibly doing an internship.
Usually, Jaron, do you want to, or Latasha, you want to answer this?
Yeah, I got it. So, I think, the best way, if you're interested in doing our corporate fellowship program, reaching out to militaryrecruiting@wellsfargo.com, attaching your resume, right? Saying, hey, this is my timeline and this is when I'm looking at for that program. And I'm interested in it, right? And then do that advocation for yourself. This is me, little introduction, and location. And what that'll do is that'll help us then go bring that forward to our corporate fellowship team to be considered.
Okay, should I go on the careers website and possibly look at roles that I'm interested in, or?
I think that would be an absolutely fantastic way to go. If you want to get ahead of the game and get to know what those roles look like and what you're interested in, that way it's more targeted. I think it's an excellent way to go.
Okay, and now are the fellowships, can they be remote with me moving to a location where you guys have offices? So I'm currently in Huntsville, Alabama, not staying here, but moving to San Antonio, Texas, post-retirement.
Okay, so I mean, typically they're not offered remote.
Okay.
At this point, but that is something that I would include that in in your email, so that way we can kind of consult with our CFP team and see what can be done there.
Okay, thank you
and
so
make sure you put on there that you're willing to relocate to one of the hub locations, because
Right,
usually
yeah.
with a CFP program, they're looking for individuals at the hub locations or willing to relocate to that area.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, thanks, team. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and answer one more question and then go our breakouts. Nick Bergenstein.
Hi,
What kind
yeah,
of questions do you have?
thanks for taking my question. I have a follow-up to the SkillBridge question, actually. The actual SkillBridge opportunity, is that aligned with a job, or is it just a general exploratory kind of experience? And is it also after the conclusion, is it aligned with a job opportunity after, or you have to reapply? Thank you.
No, with the corporate fellowship program, it's basically you do general rotations, general lines of businesses, and our goal is to get you hired on before the CFP program ends. Okay, after the CFP program ends, you still work with your military talent liaison, and they'll continue to identify different positions and advocate for you and try to get you on board. So it doesn't come with a job at the end. Okay. But it gives you an opportunity to go through the overall process and hopefully get a job before you leave.
Okay, thank you. And when we email you interest, we don't have to like tell you, hey, we're interested in this role. It's just a general big cohort exploratory kind of experience.
Yes, and mind you, we go through the Hire Heroes program. Okay, so
Right.
you'd have to apply and get approved through them.
Right. I'm in the 24-1 as well. So I thought I'd put my name in and actually show interest directly, but I appreciate the information.
Yeah, definitely. So if you are interested, definitely send us an email saying, hey, I'm interested in the CFP program, and we'll go ahead and escalate to the appropriate individuals. Sound good?
Thanks, team. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Okay, now, Chantal,
Yep.
over to you.
So, yeah. Do you want to stop there we go, the screen sharing? All right, so before we open the breakout rooms, and just so everybody that has their hand raised, you're going to have plenty of time to ask questions. So we have 3 breakout rooms. So we have just to go over it one more time. So we have the student veterans, military affiliated students, new grads with Aaron Miranda, and then our veterans Guard Reserve programs. It's going to be with Jaron Wall, and then with Latasha Freeman, it's going to be the corporate fellowship programs, and that's for military spouses as well as post-transition, correct, Latasha? You're going to talk about both of those. Okay. All right. So
Yes.
we'll open the breakout rooms. We will have the breakout rooms open until 2:25. For all the reps, please stay in your breakout rooms during the entirety of the session. And we'll meet back here for the last 5 minutes so we can wrap up and potentially do some giveaways for some sweet t-shirts. So opening the rooms now. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you don't know how to join a breakout room and you're like, what's happening? Just stay in the main room and we'll be happy to manually move you or help you navigate. If you're going into a breakout room and the rep isn't there, just give it a minute because they'll be en route. All right.